This question is from GATE 2012, Mechanical Engineering paper, question number 4. During normalizing process of steel, the specimen is heated, option A, between the upper and lower critical temperature and cooled in still air. Option B, above the upper critical temperature and cooled in furnace. Option C, above the upper critical temperature and cooled in still air. Or option D, between the upper and lower critical temperature and cooled in furnace. Let's see what is done during normalizing. So normalizing is a process done on steel that is used to produce harder and stronger steel as compared to the full annealing. So the aim is to produce harder and stronger steel than what is done in full annealing. So to produce this amount of hardness and strength, the steel specimen is heated above the critical temperature so as to dissolve the cementite network. So once the cementite network inside the steel is dissolved, it can achieve higher strength by rearranging all its particles. Then the cooling of this specimen is done in still air. It is not done in furnace, but it is done in still air so that the cooling rate is higher. If it's done in furnace, the cooling rate will be lower because of the ambient temperature in the furnace. When it is done in still air, it is subjected to the atmospheric temperature and therefore the cooling rate will be higher. As the difference between the temperature of the specimen and the atmospheric temperature is higher, the cooling rate will also be higher, as both are directly proportional. So because the cooling is done in still air, we get a higher cooling rate than in case of the annealing, of course. And this affects the transformation of austenite. This affects the austenite transformation, and therefore the resulting microstructure that will be formed in the specimen will also be affected. So we saw how the temperature, the upper limit also and the lower limit also, as well as the cooling rate affects the hardness and the strength of the steel, and therefore in normalizing, heating is done above the critical temperature and then cooling is done in still air. Let's go back and mark the correct option related to this. So we have normalizing process of steel. The specimen is heated above critical temperature. It is there in option C, and cooled in still air. Option C is the correct one. To learn more about all these heat treatments that are done on steels, depending upon what is the final product to be obtained, you can refer to the NPTEL video lecture 37, Heat Treatment of Steels, Annealing and Normalizing, from the course Basics of Materials Engineering. This course is by Professor Ratnakumar Annavatulla. He is from the Department of Mechanical Engineering of IIT Madras. I hope this explanation will help you clear your doubt. Thank you.